All right, good morning, everybody. This is Jennifer Lonnberg, and it's Tuesday, August 15th, and my guest is my beautiful friend, Angela. I love her. We met through a mastermind group and have been friends ever since. Her work is powerful, and it's amazing. It really goes along with some of the stuff that I do as well, but on a different level, because she does a lot with Akashic Records and all kinds of good, juicy stuff that you guys are going to love. So, I'm just going to turn it on over to Angela and let her start, because I know she has a lot of things to share with us today. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and chat in the chat bar. And if it's beyond something that we need to actually discuss, then what I'll do is I'll unmute you so that we can discuss it within the presentation. But here's Angela.
Hi, everybody. How are you? And I'm also wants to say hi to the people that are not here, but they will just listen to the recording. It's my pleasure, and my soul is overwhelmed of joy. Because all of you are just there, and you are giving yourself the opportunity to receive new information of love and wisdom, because this is what is all of this human experience about. Just being able to discover new worlds, discover our power, and being able to embody the divinity that we already are. So before we start, I want you to know that I guide people to connect to their inner power by providing information to heal their lives energetically, so they can empower themselves by taking action. My educational background and experience has helped me to design engaging conferences where people will find lots of motivation and confidence to begin a path of empowering themselves. Besides, I also have designed successful individual programs to guide people to shift their energy by taking action based on the information that I provide. And then they can create the life they want and they dream of. Because what I have experienced in my own life, I am from Colombia, I'm an immigrant. I got here 14 years ago as a Spanish teacher with a bag plenty of dreams. And when I went back and I said, how am I able to create all of this life if I am an immigrant? English is not my first language. These are tough times for people who are not born in the United States. I am here by myself, I don't have my family. And I just came to teach Spanish. And this universe, the world, has shown me a path where I found my soulmate. I've been married for 4 years already. He has 3 kids. I don't have my biological kids. And every time that I am already ready with my luggage to go back to Colombia, something happens. A school says, hey, we don't want you to go. Will you stay? We're going to do everything for you. Or my husband just went on his knees saying, will you marry me? So that is one of many reasons why I am here today, showing you and proving you that the power is within you. And the only thing you need to do is just activate that power. I am here as Jennifer and a lot of beautiful souls in this world to guide you, to empower that beautiful soul that is inside you, that is guiding you. So
can I tell on you a little bit here, Angela, So Angela and I have gotten to be good friends in this. She kind of skimmed over the whole thing about being a teacher, but I just want you guys to know that she gets it. Like, she's been there just like we have, where she was in the space of, I don't know what to do. And like, her human life is like, okay, well, I'm going to go and teach in America and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do this, but you know what? Now I need to go home. And her guides are like, nope, you're not going home. And so every time she would do that, something would come in her way. And so part of that story that she kind of skimmed over has actually gotten her to the work that she's doing now. So just so you guys know, she's experienced that same thing where we're like, oh, we want to do this. And our guys are like, maybe not. Maybe you better listen.
Yes. And by the way, when I made the decision that I was not going to date anybody, I was 38 years old. I was so sick of being in relationships where they said, I love you so much. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever had. You are so good, but I am just not ready. I don't want to commit. I don't want to get kids. I don't want to get married. You are just too good for me. And I got to the point where I said, oh, no more. And I quit dating for a while until my charming guy showed up one day. I was working with him for 7 years, and he said, you know what? I'm in love with you. And now he is the person that I share this beautiful experience. So I was able to create that relationship. I got married when I was 40 years old. Now I am 45. So it's just a matter of being able to embody that divinity. And that is my message to everybody. It's never too late. You are not too small, too old, too young, to nothing. You are just ready exactly as you are to start making the life that you want. So let's start moving to, what did I do with my, oh, there you go. So all my work with people is based on this. Is everybody seeing my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
We can see it.
Perfect. So insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I would like to have more money, but I don't change my job. I don't do something else to get more money. I don't talk to my boss. I just want to get more money. I would like to have a healthy relationship, but you are still in the same relationship and you don't take action to move, to start creating something else. And this is a very normal human condition. We love to have dreams. We have a lot of dreams, but we do not take action. And I was at that point in my life. I was having a lot of information, reading books, attending seminars. There were no webinars back then, but if they would have been then webinars back then, I think I would have attended all of them. But nothing happened in my life. I said, but why? I know I have a lot of knowledge. I've done a lot. Because of course I was investing money, I was investing my time, but I wasn't taking action that was leading me to what I wanted. So to start working about this, how could I get out of this? Like, I am in my life in a point where I don't see the light. I am repeating the same kind of experiences over and over again. I'm changing my thoughts. I'm changing the world that I feel. I am meditating. I am having a morning routine. I have sessions with Jennifer, or I have sessions with angel readers, but my life is exactly the same. So let's start discussing what is a block. So black is something that doesn't allow me to move forward. If I am sitting here and I would like to go to the kitchen that is just right in front of me, I have a table. This is a physical block. I can see it, I can touch it, and I have two options. Either I move the table or I just go around the table and I go to where I want to be, the kitchen. Those are physical blocks. But there are other kind of blocks. Basically, a block is something that doesn't let me move. If I don't know what's my block, how can you move it? Or how can you go around? And this is where we're going to be talking today. So Angela, how do I know if I'm dealing with a block? You are dealing with a block if you are repeating the same experience over and over again. You can't make your dreams come true. It doesn't matter how much you work, how much effort, money, and time you put into it. It looks like it's just not for you. You can't achieve your goals. I want to finish my career. I would like to be an angel reader. I would like to go to Europe. I would like to visit Colombia. And it doesn't matter how much you want it, it's not happening. Or it's hard for you to close chapters in your life, relationships, past jobs, friendships. You feel sick. When we feel sick, it's because your body is telling you something. You need to go back to that body, talk to the body and feel, what do I need to heal? Is it about my emotions? Is it about the way I'm thinking? Is the way that I am acting? But you need to make that connection.
Angela, your screen I don't think is forwarding.
What do you mean forward?
On your screen, like I'm seeing that still the very first who is Angela slide. Is that where you're at on your PowerPoint? Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So maybe stop your share.
Now ready?
Oh, there we go. There, okay, that just went to.
Perfect. That is now my blocks.
Okay.
Where I was. This is where I was. Thank you, Jennifer, for.
Yeah, I was like, wait, it's still there. So, and not to get off track. So to kind of get us back on track where we are. Whenever I first worked with Angela, I had this block. I have never, like, it's no secret. Everybody on this thing knows I'm not a morning person, but it's one thing to not be a morning person and one thing to wake up almost half pissed off every day. And that was one of the blocks that I was having that Angela was able to get to the, like, into the meat of. It turned out being something, you know, totally crazy that I would have never even thought to look for.
Yes. And there are things that are very small and gentle that you may not even perceive it. But with time, when you are facing something that you would like to achieve, that block may get stronger to show you something you need to work on. That's the beauty of the blocks. I love my blocks. And just because of my blocks, I've been able to be where I am right now. So we need to love those blocks. We need to value the blocks. But we need to take action. So what kind of blockages could I deal with? Physical, the ones that I told you before. This table is in the middle. I am driving. There is a lot of traffic. I can see it. I can touch it. I have two options. I stay there patiently, or I take a detour. But these two common blocks are the ones that we need to pay more attention. Jennifer, there is a lot of noise in the background.
Yep, I just muted it. There was somebody else that came in that I didn't get.
That's fine. Yeah, perfect. It's just because people who are going to listen to the recording, that could be distracting. Emotional blocks. And I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about these emotions. Guilt, fear, resentment, anger, or sadness. If you, and I know you have because I have, and I think all human beings, we have gone through them. If you have experienced these feelings in your life, you may have created a block related to that experience. What is the best way to deal with this kind of blocks? Always get in contact with your feelings. I will suggest a big, powerful tool for you, and it's have a journal. So you already know that these are the most powerful emotions in terms of creating blocks. Every time that you go through a situation, it is important just go to yourself, give yourself 5 minutes, light a candle if possible, do a cycle of breath, and just go inside and think, how am I feeling right now with this situation? Am I feeling guilty? Am I in fear? Am I angry, sad? Is there resentment involved in this situation? And heal it right there. How do I heal it, Angela? When you are aware that that is the healing, you just need the feeling, you just need to talk to it and say, thank you so much for showing this, but I don't need you. I am free. And just say an affirmation about the opposite. If it is about guilty, I am not responsible for the way these things ended up. I am not responsible for the way somebody else is feeling because of my words, because we are free beings and we make our own decisions.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, so what you're talking about here, Angela, actually, we just did a webinar on this too about the art of forgiveness. Everything that she's talking about right now, you can implement what we just learned and do exactly what she's talking about right now. Because you've got to be in that space when you journal of the, and I've talked to the people that are on this that have seen me before. They know that I always say, be in non-judgment. So when you're looking at these feelings, like if you're feeling guilt, like don't feel guilty about feeling guilt. Right? Just it is what it is, and it's okay, and we're human, and we're going to go through these emotions. So be in that space of non-judgment and allowing of yourself so that you can then, really process this through in a way where you can say, you know what, I love you. I see how you served me for a while, but now you can go because I don't need you anymore.
Exactly. And it's important for you to cover yourself and the other person or people involved in golden light. Mm-hmm. That is the light of God. If you don't believe in God, it's perfectly fine. It's just a very powerful light to heal, to just inject a lot of love to the situation and the people involved. There are many ways that you can heal those emotions. This is, I'm not going to stay long here because you have discussed that with Jennifer before. But I just want you to know that you have the power to let those emotions take over your energy field. All of this conversation is about energy. It's about the consequences that we need to deal with when we are not catching up that emotion, and we let that emotion go in and eat and eat and eat and eat until you get a big wound that you need to heal later, and it's going to be, let's say, then you have to just deal with more negative consequences instead of just doing it right away. Okay? So very important, get in contact with your emotion. How are you feeling? It's not about the other person. It's not about your husband that yell at you. It's not about your daughter that is just defiant and is not listening. It's not about anybody else but you. That person is a great opportunity, showing you a mirror or something that you need to deal with in you. It's not about anybody else. And when we have the blessing of realizing that that is true, we start taking all our power back, and we don't give power to anybody else or to any situation to bring us down. All of this work is about empowering yourself, and you have the wind in your hands. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. The next one is the mental blocks. These blocks are also very powerful. I always work first about the emotions, because everything that we connect to our emotion has more power than what we connect to the thoughts. In fact, one of the reasons why The Secret doesn't work with most people or a lot of people or few people is because standing up and saying and repeating affirmations, visualizing them without making any connection to your emotion doesn't work. Everything is about connecting to an emotion, how you are feeling when you achieve this. That is the secret of the secret. And it's exactly the same when we are healing our energy bodies. So mental, I want you to be aware that what you think is not always positive, healthy, or true. And we need to work on those 3 filters to be able to keep the thoughts that we want, because they are going to serve you. Having thoughts that drop our energy don't serve us anymore to this purpose of creating the life that we want. It doesn't serve us to be able to embody that divinity that we already are. So what do I need to do? Just get in contact with your thoughts. What I am thinking right now. This is the situation. I should be mad. I am not mad. I just think that I'm stupid. Get in contact to that. Wait a minute. Why I'm feeling this way and why I am thinking this? Because remember, everything that we have in our thoughts is part of the reality we are creating. So we need to be careful to the way we are thinking. And we need to choose the thoughts that we want. What I do basically is just having, and of course it's a matter of train yourself, but when I start thinking, my mind is so crazy. It goes from New Zealand to Africa, to being cold, to being hungry, to want to work with this client and just deny this client because he's not ready to work with me, to what sandals I'm wearing now. Oh my God, I didn't have the chicken in the stove. Like, it's crazy, and it's in seconds. When I was able to see my mind like, and then I stop it and I said, wait a minute, what thoughts do I have this? This one doesn't serve me, it's not helping me, I don't need it now. This is for later, this is what I want. In this moment, I am in peace. But we always give the power to our thoughts. And we are the ones who need to stop it. That is taking action. When I am able to stop, breathe and say, wait a minute, nope, I don't need that thought. What do you do when you go to buy shoes? You say, no, this shoe is too black. I would like a charcoal one, that black, I don't like it. What about this one? No, I don't like that golden stuff on it. Oh, these heels are so high. Right? That is exactly what we need to do to our thoughts. I don't like this thought. Cancel. Bye. Oh, this one would be good. What if I create this one about how awesome I am? how peaceful I am. Oh my God, look at many things that I can create right now. I would like to think this and just make it happen. Because again, everything is about where I am putting my intention, where I am sending my energy. That's where my reality goes. But then we are complaining, "Oh, I feel so sick. My life sucks. I've been doing many things, but nothing works." What kind of things are you doing?
I love that. I'm going to have to make a quote out of that. Choose your thoughts like a new pair of shoes. Only pick the ones you like.
Exactly. I love that one. And when you do it, just share it with me. I'm going to share it with you. Because that is everything about it. And that is something else that has helped me a lot. When I have a thought, I make a statement if I like that thought.
Yeah.
Most of my affirmations, and I don't call them affirmations, I call them determinations, because when I am determined to do something, I put the emotion and I make it happen. An affirmation, I could say it all day long. I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. And I keep on being broke every day and I don't have to pay my bill. That they don't work. Determinations, they are involved with the emotion and the action determined to make it happen. So what about the illness, Angela? You haven't talked about it. We could have a different webinar to talk about our body, our physical body. When we get sick, it's because our body has a message for us. Everything about our physical body is related to the consequences of what we think and feel. It is also related to our chakras. And they create energy blockages or energy blocks a lot, because this is what happened. And I'm going to give you the example about my colon. My husband hates me. No, he doesn't hate me, but he really dislikes when I share this experience. But I live that. I'm not making this up. I was super sick of my colon. And I thought it was because I didn't like to eat a lot of salads. And I was so lazy drinking water. That's where we get out of there, right? If you don't eat water, if you don't drink enough water, if you don't eat salad or vegetables, and if you don't exercise, your colon gets sick. Well, I didn't do those things. So of course, my colon was getting sick. I started doing it to see if I could heal it. It didn't work. It was getting worse and worse and worse. I had huge hemorrhoids, internal and external, like painful. And I had like this moment, aha moment, like, Angela, you work with this. How come you are dealing with this situation if that's where you help people to get over? So I was thinking, what is creating this in my life? And I realized that I was under a lot of stress in my past job. I am still part-time educational consultant. So I traveled around the United States teaching teachers how to teach Spanish as a second language. And I was dealing with a lot of stress because my boss, that I bless him every day, used to have the phone and say, hey, Angela, you need to jump into a flight at 5 p.m. and it is 11 a.m. This school needs you to have a training tomorrow about this and that. And of course, I was taught that I need to be responsible. So I just did everything, the possible and the impossible for me to jump in that flight, be there on time, and have a training that I had to plan in the airplane and when I get to the hotel. When that happens once, yeah, it's okay. But when it happens many times, my stomach wasn't able to digest that situation. I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think that was the right way to do it. My energy was dropping like furiously, but I wasn't able to express it or to connect it. When I was able to do it, and then I went, and if you are dealing with any kind of sickness or pain in your life, or you have somebody that is important for you, this book from Louise Hay, Heal Your Life from A to Z, it has been my Bible. So I went to look into that book, and it says, dealing with deadlines, not being able to digest your life, creates problems in your colon. I said, oh, okay, if that is the problem, let me fix it. And I start taking action. I start saying my boss, I can't jump into a flight right now. My next flight is on Friday. It's not today. I am not ready. I have things to do. Being able to say no, being able to meditate about that feeling, sending a lot of healing to my boss, to me, to the situation, and talking to my stomach and the cells of my colon, telling them, it's okay. I am here to protect you, but you are my priority. It's fine. I am safe. I have time and I love life. I am safe. I love life. I went through surgery and the doctor told me that I needed to go like 2 weeks later. I went a week later because the next week I had to travel again. And she started just checking on me, and she went looking to the papers and looked at me again and looked to the papers and said, hey, Angela, wait a minute. Are you Angela? I said, yeah. Saldarriaga? Yes. Is this your address, phone number, age? Yes. Do you have your surgery last week? I said, yes, ma'am. Is something wrong? I thought, oh my God, cancer. What did they find? This is awful. Why she looks so surprised? And she said, I don't know what you've been doing, but keep on doing it. You're completely healed. I don't see any bruise. I don't see any like blood, anything. It's like you have never had surgery. I just turned around and I hugged her. I said, are you serious? This is working. It worked. I healed myself. When I was able to put myself as a priority. When I was able to talk to my stomach and my colon and telling them, I love you and I'm safe and I promise you're going to be my priority from now on. This is just one story about a lot of stories that I have had with my clients, relatives, and friends. And it's not because of what I do. It's because they were able to take action. If I have that book and I read it and I go and I repeat the affirmation that she suggests, but I don't take action, nothing will happen. Nothing is going to happen. Because I'm going to keep on jumping in the same flight when my boss makes a decision that is the right moment without me being able to say it. Without me being able to pack my salads and my water and my yogurt and taking care of myself. No, I was just jumping in an airplane, getting to places where there is just McDonald's and deal with that. What about me? What about my stomach? And that is my question for you there who are watching us or listening to us. What about you? What are those actions that you need to take right now to put yourself as a priority? Because that is one of the best healing tools and strategies for you. And you don't need to pay Jennifer or me or anybody else if today you make the decision to put yourself as a priority. So, up in here. I don't know what happened. I can't move to the next one. I love this. Okay, here we go. Are you watching the next one?
It's still you. It's showing you in the screen. So hit the screen. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So it is very important for us when we are thinking about, okay, I am in this space that I don't want to be, but you choose to be with your actions, your emotions, and your thoughts. You need to be responsible of that. And this is not about punishing ourselves and living this because of my actions. That's not the idea. We don't need to work with victims here. It's just, okay, that's perfect. I choose to wear the high heels today. Deal with the pain in your feet. Okay, I choose or I make the decision to go out without makeup, deal with everybody asking you if you're sick. And that is perfectly fine. It's about the choices that we make. So we create negativity through our choices. There are no blocks or restrictions that happen to us. We create that. So in my work with energy, all of these blocks and restrictions are called blocks and restrictions because they limit the flow of energy that we receive from the divine source. And I want you to have that very clear. Why everybody's talking about energy nowadays? Why is that so important? Because what happens if you don't put gasoline to your car? What happens if you cook with gas and you run out of gas? What happens if there is a storm like we had in Phoenix 2 days ago and there is not electricity? That happens to our body. What is making us think that it doesn't matter what I put into my body, I'm gonna be fine because I'm alive? Well, guess what? You may be not alive in 5 minutes if you don't take care of yourself, or deal with the consequences of not taking care of yourself. We are divine beings. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not, if you are Christian, Catholic, or Jewish, it doesn't matter. I have a lot of friends who they do not believe in anybody else but themselves. They just believe in the things that they can see. But they couldn't deny that because of the energy that we receive, we are still alive. And that energy comes from somewhere else. According to my experience, they come from a divine source. But if I don't have enough energy and I want to go to Colombia, I may be able to get to Tucson. If you are in a bicycle and you want to ride from here to Florida, and I am in Phoenix, Arizona, and you want to ride from here to Florida, you need to be so healthy to be able to ride that long. Every single thing that we do needs and requires energy. But if I don't have enough energy, then we need to deal with the consequences. One of the things that I realize when I'm running out of energy is when I get sleepy or tired or hungry. And I want to make a difference between tired and sleepy. They are two different things. We're not going to discuss it here, but if you are interested, we can discuss it. But they are different things. And being hungry. Because of course, those resources of energy that I had, they are going low, running low, low. So I start being really irritated. And you cannot imagine what happens when a Colombian gets irritated. It's not a good thing, believe me. So I was dealing with this situation for a while until my husband said, you know what I have noticed, Angela? When you are hungry or tired, you are very unbearable to deal with. I said, you know what, you're right. So now I'm making sure that I eat and that I sleep at least 8 hours every day. No excuses. Because I am my priority. Because I love myself. And because I am my own one. Blue, blue, blue. I am the one who makes things happen. And if I don't have my energy here, there is no way I can create what I want. Well, if my energy is here, I'm going to create more out of here. More pain, guilt, fear, resentment, because it's where I am vibrating, right here. But when I am here, I am happy, I'm joyful, I'm not worried about money, I'm not worried about if I have to work today or not, because I'm happy and I live in La La Land because that's what I've been creating. It's my creation, I make it happen. If I drop my energy, and we can talk about many things, how to tune into the frequency of money, how to keep your energy vibration high, how to create the relationships that you want, and everything based on I need to be aware of the energy I am dealing with. What kind of energy I am creating right now with this thought, with this emotion, with these words. Woohoo, they are super powerful, and with these actions. Questions so far? Okay, perfect.
Anybody have any questions? I'll look in the chat bar to see. I think it's really important too what she's talking about. A lot of this we talk about, some of the people here on the call are actually in my group as well. And we do talk about this, and it's not just physical energy, it's emotional, mental, spiritual, all of that combined. So you've got to keep all of that in balance and fed. So especially with what's going on right now with the ascension, a lot of that, you have to be in that space of really replenishing yourself with spiritual energy so that you can handle what's coming in, right?
Yes. This energy of August is very tricky.
Yes.
Because we came from July, that was very powerful. And it was the time for you to set up what you really want to make happen. And now is the time to just think about it. Is this really what I want?
Mm-hmm.
Am I willing to deal with the consequences of my actions to make this happen, or to make happen completely the opposite? Is the time for you to start evaluating, because the energy right now is like this. And you may be experiencing that in your life, feeling so tired. It doesn't matter how many hours per day you sleep, moody, you're so happy, and suddenly you get irritated, and suddenly noise is just unbearable, and you cannot even deal with that, or your kids, or your husband that I love to death, but last night I said, do you mind if I go to sleep in the other bed? Feeling guilty. And then I said, no, I shouldn't be guilty. And I said, why, baby? I said, Amor, you don't understand this, but I just feel a lot of energy right now, and I just need time for me to settle that energy and just manage the energy. Of course, he looked at me like my crazy wife that I love. Said, sure, baby, but are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. This morning, I jumped into the bed at 5 a.m. to kiss him. I said, baby, good morning. He said, I didn't have the energy thing you had last night. Let me sleep. And it's just being able to deal with those moody stuff. And I told him, I said, I know this is so hard for you to believe completely, even if you have seen me doing it, but this month is weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Oh my God, I can experience all of that.
Yeah, and trust yourself. So this is the other thing too, exactly what you're talking about. Trust yourself to know what you need, right? So this is all about self-care. This section right here that she's talking about is all about how do you care for yourself? What do you need personally? Do you need a salad? Do you need a roll? Like, I know everybody talks about you shouldn't have carbs. I do. I have to have them or else I don't feel well. So, which is totally backwards. But so know what's right for you. And like I always say, you are your own guru, right? You are the one that knows what's right for you. So, okay. And we'll let you go on now. Sorry. I just wanted to really throw that in there, that it's really important to know what's right for you when it comes to that.
And it's very important when we are talking about blocks and restrictions, because I want to know, how could I get out of this? Mm-hmm. Well, go back.
Yeah, you've got to recognize where you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you feeling? Mm-hmm. What are you saying? What are your actions? Are they aligned and consistent and congruent to each other? And if you feel like, Angela, right now, I'm okay, my emotions, my thoughts, well, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, then that means that you're dealing with a block of restriction about a past choice. And that past choice could be in this present life or in a past lifetime. And if you don't believe in past lives, perfectly fine. But there are actions that you took in this present life, but in a past moment, that are creating those blocks and restrictions. You don't need to go too far. It's fine if you don't want to move from this incarnation because you don't believe in something else. Perfectly fine. But then deal with this incarnation. Deal with it. Don't just ignore it. Don't ignore your inner child. Don't ignore the relationships with your parents. With your parents. They set up a lot of triggers in our lives for us to be able to heal them. And if we don't see them, if we don't see those triggers or kind of clues, we're going to keep on living in a very hard life. So we need to be aware of that. So we're going to talk now about something that is really important, and is the difference between a decision. Are you seeing my screen?
Yep, there it is. Mm-hmm.
Decisions and choices. First, because I am a Spanish teacher, I also was an English teacher, even if you don't believe it, with this English in my country, and I love words. And part of the magic about working with energy is how accurate you are with your words. So what's the difference between a decision and a choice? A decision happens here in your mind. It's a mental action. Usually when you make a decision, you don't have alternatives. Oh, I'm going to Colombia. That's a decision. That is a decision you made at mental level. I'm going to wear this blue dress. I'm going to be in the kitchen. I'm going to the pool. Decisions that we do every day. Every day we make a lot of decisions. Now, choice. It's a physical action. The choice is when you take action. I'm going to Colombia, but I ended up going to Cancun. My decision was Colombia, but my choice was Cancun because I bought the ticket to go to Cancun. My decision was a blue dress, and this was also my choice because this is what I ended up wearing. But if you are a woman, you know what I'm talking about, that you just think about, I'm gonna wear the yellow dress, and you ended up with the blue one. Or I would like to, I don't know, let's say, I want to cook Colombian food today, but I ended up making tacos. That is a Mexican food. Everything is about a decision and a choice. What's my invitation for you today? What's my challenge for you today? Let's be aware of our decisions, but let's start making more choices. The choice is the action itself. That choice is what lets you create the reality that you want. So you need to be very aware of this. I am having problems changing to the next slide for some reason that it wasn't happening at the beginning.
I can't imagine Mercury retrograde has anything to do with that.
I don't know.
I do. So why she's trying to get her PowerPoint, I love that, because decisions and choices, that's really neat, Angela, how you've kind of laid that out into something to where they're totally different, because most people think that's one thing. But you're absolutely right, because we can decide in our mind sometimes, you know, and sometimes just making the decision can be a choice. Because like if you've got all of these things going on, if you don't make that, you know, action step, so it's really important how those two play together.
And you know that Jennifer knows about this, but some months ago I had to change the name of my business. It was Inner Wise Consulting and Coaching. There is another company in Germany that has the same name. They are more renowned and they have more services, and it's a huge company. They have been in the business like for more than 20 years. And they sued me because they thought that I copied their name. The story here is that when I had to think about a different name for my business, I was thinking, what is the hardest thing for people to do? Taking actions. It's so hard to take action. Because we change actions constantly, or we just do not take it. But not always when we take action, that action is aligned to what I want. And that's when I realized, when I help people reading the Akashic records, when I help just doing this energy scanner, when I channel the spirit guides, what is basically what I do with my clients? And it's just guiding them to take new actions. So I said, that is the name for my business. Change your actions, shift your energy. Because again, if you are here, but you want something else, you need to fill this gap to be able to tune into this energy. And the only thing that is gonna help you to close that gap are the actions that you take. But if I don't know what actions to take, I'm gonna be there forever just complaining, or maybe tasting a little bit of how does it feel to be here, and then drop your energy again and stay here most of the time. So here is this a little graph about what happens with people. I've been working in this for 10 years, but my business itself, when I just quit the other job to do this full time, blah, 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 2 years ago. And in all of these years, I have experienced that 77% of my clients needed more than 3 sessions to connect their choices to the challenges they were facing. So I provide a lot of information and they were ready to go, right? But it was so hard for them to think, okay, this is what I'm dealing with in my life, and these are the choices I have, and this is what Angela told me about my soul. Now how could I connect this? So hard for them to do it. Just 67% needed more than 3 sessions. With 1 session, it was not enough. 20% were able to change the decisions. That means they were not making too many decisions, but there was no congruence between the decisions or choices. So they wanted, let's say, they wanted to make more money. So, okay, they decide that they need a different job. They decide that they need to take a different training. They decide that they need to work on the resume. But guess what? They never made those choices. They stay in decisions, but they never really take the action to do it. 10% of them felt the need to change their lives from the choices they had made. So they were aware after our first session with the information I provide, like, oh my God, yes, it makes a lot of sense. I got it. Just 3% showed awareness by taking new and different choices. So just 3%. Angela, why you are telling us this? I'm just telling you this because I understand you. I got you. I know how hard it is to move from here to here. But you are not alone. When you have a deep desire and you want to get out of this funky, sad place of lack, illness, loneliness place, you can do it. Of course you can. You're gonna need help, guidance, information, but especially a big desire to make that change. It's not impossible. Of course it's possible. So Angela, what could I do? Many things you can do. Treat yourself with love and ease. We already talked a little bit about this. Begin this transformational journey inside. When I started with all of this 15 years ago, when I got my certification as a Reiki master, I thought I had the world in my hands. Oh my God, I could heal energy. This is so cool. And I started reading books about angels, energy, quantum metaphysics, every single thing that I was moving from Colombia to here, but at that time, all of these topics in my country were like, Angela is cuckoo in the head. And now she wants to go and live in the United States? Woohoo, we lost her. But I thought that just reading and getting information was enough. When I was able to connect myself to that inner master, to my emotions, to my story, to my inner child, to the way that I think, to who I am, I was able to start healing myself and just go like in a library. I need this information. I don't need this. This is for me right now. I need to work in the power of now that we were discussing before. The power of now for me was huge when I started all of this transformational journey. So everything starts inside you. The fact that today you are here thinking about a different information, the fact that you are here taking notes, giving your time, your energy, and your effort is a huge sign from your soul telling you, hey, you're ready. You are ready. Now, get the information you need and start taking action now. Take your life in your hands. It's not because of your parents, because of your husband, kids, the job, your boss, your co-workers, the country we live in, the president, the mayor, or Korea del Norte or del Sur, South Korea or North Korea. It's not about anybody else but you. You are responsible for every single thing that is happening right now in your life. We are one. And you know what's the beauty of all of this? And I hope from my heart that you can experience this one day. When one person heals themselves, we heal the universe and we start healing everybody else around. That's why this energy work is being so powerful lately, because it is just a little piece of sand that is making a huge mountain of healing for this country, for this planet, for this universe, for this humanity. You don't need to think, how could I serve the world? Serve yourself. Heal yourself. You be happy, and you are helping a lot to this world and to the universe. Keep a deep desire of making your dreams come true. Guys, I cannot address enough how important it is to be attentive to your dreams and do not ignore them or let them on the side. Because every deep desire, I am not talking about the pink shoes. I don't know why I'm talking about shoes today. I think I need to buy shoes. But I'm not talking about the pink shoes that I saw at Payless yesterday. I am talking about that deep desire that is in your heart, is in your soul, And it doesn't matter where you go, what you do, how old you get, that desire is always there. Yesterday, I connect to my desire to relearn French. And I was thinking, that would be so cool if I just go and get classes, French classes. I want to speak it again. And it's a dream that I have there. So I sat down and I said, what other dreams I have that I hadn't connected into a long time? And let's start with the first one. And let's start making that happen, because that is an energy there. It's an energy there that we can now waste. Identify, embrace, and be thankful for your blocks. When we complain, we create negativity. And if we want to heal those blocks, we need to go back to them and say, thank you so much for many things you are showing me now that I can't see. The fact that I am sick, poor, alone, without job, is for a reason. And thank you so much, because I know you are telling me something that I can't see, I can't read, I can't understand. Now I am open to see it. Show me and let me see it. It's the same with your inner child. Look for help. Open your mind and follow the desires of your heart. There are moments in our lives when we need help and we cannot get out of this place by ourselves. We need somebody else to point out. Back then, and some people still do it, they go to therapy, psychology, psychiatrics, many kind of therapists. If you feel that's what you need, go ahead. But when I was in that funky moment, I knew that the last thing that I needed was a psychiatrist to give me medication, or a psychologist that wanted me to talk and talk and talk without me being able to process anything. I didn't want that. I didn't want it. I didn't need it. That doesn't mean everybody's there. Some people need it. For some people that work and they are in a different place right now, and that's awesome. Identify what you need, but look for help. Invest in yourself. Treat yourself with love and ease is number one. And that means that you need to invest in yourself. Look for people who can help you. Look for information. Could be me, could be Jennifer. But if you don't feel that you resonate with us, just ask for guidance. That's what I did when I wanted to learn something else that I didn't know what it was. And that's when I opened Facebook and Akashic Records reader. Would you like to learn how to access Akashic Records? And I felt my soul jumping inside, say, this is what I was looking for. But I was asking for guidance for more than 4 months. I said, God, show me what else. I want to help people, but I don't know how to do it. And this spiritual and life, being spiritual and life coach is not enough for me. I know there is more. Please guide me. So ask for guidance to the universe, but look for help, for guidance. And the last one is commitment. Because if you look for guidance, and let's say you hire Jennifer, and Jennifer tells you that you need to just, I don't know how you work, Princess, but let's say 10 sessions. And you have homework for each of those sessions. But you don't show up on time, you don't do the homework, you go halfway and you say, you know what, Jennifer, I'm not gonna be able to do it, life happens, I'm so busy and crazy, blah, 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 blah. You are not committed to yourself. You are giving the power to other things that happen. And those things and worse things are going to start happen if you don't look at the main important person in your life, yourself. So all of this work about blocks and restrictions, how we create them, how we heal them, it's not about what we feel or about what we think. It is what we do with what we feel and with what we think. That is the big message today. Just be aware of what you think, what you feel, and what you do with those thoughts and emotions, because that is what creates the blocks. When I read Akashic Records, I find blocks and restrictions from vows of poverty, because at some point in your life, present or past, you made the decision that you didn't need money, that it was okay to be poor, that it was okay to just have enough. And you make these vows of because you get married, or because you get into a religious organization, or just because one day you make that promise to the universe. Contracts of protection or contract of health. So, yes, healing, because you felt that you were like God and you could protect anybody else around you. But you never thought that that soul needed to go to that situation to be able to learn something else. And the same with the healing. You thought that you were God and you could heal, and you promised that soul that you're going to heal it. It doesn't matter what happened. Or you have a negative thought for it, or anger spheres, or negative entities that just got into your energy field because you were just vibrating so low. There are a lot of blocks and restrictions that we create in the past that we are not aware of them. And when we start just working on here, but there is a mess down here, at some point this mess out here is going to jump up. It's like building a house. You need to make sure that it has good baseline. Otherwise, suddenly the roof is going to be on your head. It's exactly the same when you want to build the life of your dreams. You need to make sure that everything underneath is clear and you're ready to keep on building. And when I am talking to this baseline here, I'm talking about these present life choices you made when you were a kid. Angela, but I was a little girl. I didn't know. I was a little boy. I had no idea. Well, but the energy doesn't know about that. The energy doesn't know about age. And you start just building up here, from this mess, and now you want to build a heaven. No, you need to start cleaning. So this is a big invitation for me to you to just realize that blocks and restrictions are real. And they are happening right now in your life because of your choices, not because of your decisions. And remember, choice is an action. And it's your responsibility, nobody else, to look at those blocks, start taking action, but being aware of the way you feel, you think, you talk, and you act, to be able to heal them, to be able to change them and create something new and different. So guys, right now, I gave you the key to go back to yourself and open that inner master that you already are and be able to put on that custom to where you're real being. If the only thing that you get out of this almost an hour we've been talking is, I need to be aware of the way that I feel, you just create magic in your life. Right now, right here, let me tell you, it's just so powerful. There is nothing else about this but being aware of those kind of thoughts and feelings, that they express themselves as words and as actions. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Angela. So I think what I'm going to do now, we have a few more, we're cutting it at the time right now, but I just want to reiterate what she said, and then I'm going to open it up for questions, because here's the thing. No matter how much spiritual work that we can do, if you don't go back to this basic part of being human, all of the energy work in the world is never going to stick. Like, we can clear it for you all day long, but if you don't come back to this basic thing of what is it that you're feeling, what are you avoiding, what are you thinking about every day, how do you talk every day, how are you taking care of yourself every day, if you're not managing any of that, we can do Reiki or energy healing or anything all day long and it won't do any good. So we have to be in this space. And a lot of people get really irritated when I tell them, you're responsible for where you're at right now. They're like, no, I had all these other circumstances. Well, yes, but even though those circumstances happen, now you've got to take responsibility and say, okay, this happened, and now I'm not going to let it affect me anymore. I'm going to start making different choices and decisions, right? Taking different action so that it will be different moving forward. So what I'm going to do is unmute everybody now. And if you have questions, if you don't want to be unmuted, go ahead and mute yourself back. But if you have questions, now is your time to go ahead and ask anything that you want to ask. Anybody? Does everybody know how to unmute themselves, or are you guys just all soaking it in?
Definitely soaking it in.
Okay. So any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
How is it that it's been your sessions, Jennifer and Angela, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, Michael. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, usted, soy cubano chino.
Ay, como me gustan los cubanos y el arroz. Después seguimos. Nice to meet you, Michael.
Thank you. I told her I was Cuban Chinese, among other things. I'm walking United Nations.
Nice.
Your sessions are powerful. Her sessions are powerful. How is it that you have been able to encompass this fantastic knowledge and impart it to others? Because it's just mind-blowing. Both of you.
Jennifer, you go first, or I go?
Okay. So for me, Melissa, I'll get you in just a minute. Okay. So go ahead and type in your question, and then I'll ask it for you. She just messaged me that her mic isn't working.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, I changed the microphones. All right, so
Okay.
just a little bit later.
So Michael, to answer your question, on my own work, like literally years ago, I went through this place of, I felt so guilty. I don't know if you've read my book yet, but I had this place where I'm like, I wanted more in life, and I felt guilty almost wanting that because I had a pretty normal, normal kind of life. I'm married, I got kids, we had, the dog, the cat, the fish, the whole, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing. And, but it just wasn't quite enough. And I had this underlying negative theme in my life that we never had enough. Nothing was ever good enough. Like all of those things, that was pretty much the biggest key. And for me, it was a little bit different because I'm Christian. So I was digging into every Bible study and every self-help book and all of these things, trying to find what is it, that I'm missing and where am I looking? And the key for me was this one Bible study that I did that talked about generational sin, because I was doing all the things that I knew how to do, but I still had a negative mindset. I still had this negative energy, quote unquote, all around me. Like, even though things were good in my mind, my life sucked. It really didn't suck, but I felt like it did, right? So I had to do my own digging and my own journey. And my journey took me from doing that Bible study and going, oh my God, there's so much more to this than just me. Like, this is generational stuff, right? So this comes into generational energy and Akashic records and past lives and all of this energy that we've brought forward, however you want to look at that. So in that moment for me, it was like, okay, this is a negative thought pattern. This isn't like, the negative generational sin doesn't have to be some really bad, like you come from a line of murderers. It can simply be that you've been taught to be negative your whole life, right? Now, it's not my parents' fault. It's not their parents' fault. It was just the pattern. Wherever it started, you just have to kind of start clearing it. But the first and the most important thing for me was I had to recognize that. And I had to say, okay, I recognize this and I see where I've practiced it in my own life. So now how do I make the decision to change it? And then what choices do I make to make that change happen? So it's just like Angela was saying, for me, it was my own inner work. After that, I learned all about, the subconscious. I learned what codependency was. I got more in tune with my guides because I realized then the next step for me was learning that I was totally denying who I was. I was so terrified people were going to find out I was psychic that I was literally like scrunching the most important part of my soul saying, no, you can't be you. So that was the next step, right? So then I came into that and I was like, okay, God, you know what? You did this, so show me. And then since then, it's just been, okay, this is the work. This is what you do. The book I wrote was about kind of my process of how I went through it. It was, what am I thinking? How do I get control of those thoughts? How do I quiet that nasty little thing? And then what do I really want out of life? And how do I start creating that? So that's where it started for me. That's a very condensed story, but that's the basic of how it started for me.
And I just would add, Michael, that it doesn't matter where we come from in terms of nationality, family, lifestyle, doesn't matter. But if you are here feeling like, I would like to do what these two ladies are doing, Just start going inside, heal yourself, and ask guidance. Because if this is what your soul wants to do, Michael, it's your responsibility to start taking action. That is basically that I think at some point Jennifer and I did. I quit my job. I already healed myself. I was feeling a different kind of energy. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be a teacher anymore. And I don't want to be an educational consultant anymore. Now I am back as a part-time because nobody else can teach Spanish accordingly to my boss, because I have all the grammar and all of that thing. People that learn it here don't have it, but I'm just doing that part-time. But now, specifically now, when my business are like flourishing, like, oh, now you are calling me, are you serious? But that is part of who I am. I am a teacher inside me. I love to do this more than any other thing in my life. So I ask for guidance, Michael. Who's the right person? Let me see that this is the right person. Let me develop my intuition. I don't know if you work with a pendulum, but pendulums have been awesome because before I was able to channel the spirit. Yeah, pendulums, and I have like 7. I have 2 here. I get with this, and these are for my clients, and I have 3 more. But these help me a lot because the ego always interferes. So if I was asking a question, is it meant to me to do this work with Akashic records? The pendulum immediately start moving. I said, what's the percentage? It is 100%. No, it's less than 100%. Yes, it is 81%. Yes, it is 1%. And it was not 81% at the beginning. It was 100% at the beginning. But after I was doing Akashic records, I identified that some people do not resonate with Akashic records. So I said, how could I help these people that they also need my guidance? So let's do something else for who they don't resonate with this. So life just puts you the next step in front of you. You're not going to be able to see the end. I don't know what's my aim. I'm just walking here happily singing and chanting, but just have that energy, Michael, that this is what I want to do. These girls are my inspiration. Guide me, show me the path, and you're going to see it, Michael. Trust. For me, that is the magic word. Trust.
And that's huge. But the biggest part of that too is you have to be at the space where you're going to own your own junk. If you don't clear that up, like Angela was saying earlier, you may want to get up here, but if you don't clean out the basement, so to speak, you're never going to have enough of that vital energy, right? So we've got to clear out the junk to make space for more light so that then you can radiate more light out. Okay, Melissa, your turn. What's your question?
Well, mine is it's probably boring for everybody else because it's very specific to my training because I've just finished the Akashic Records training and I'm just on the very last part of it. And I just was going to ask you if it was difficult for you to do the soul story part. I feel I'm having a crisis of confidence all of a sudden. And I don't know if it's because of all this energy stuff going on, but I just am like, I got to this point and I was like, I got it. And then I got to this point and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question and for being here. I really honor you and Michael and the ones that I can see, you cannot imagine. Even if it was just one person, I'm just so happy to have you here. You know that was really challenge when I was listening to my teacher explaining, and I don't know if we went through the same course Andrea has.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So it was really, really challenge for me just listening to her and saying, I'm not going to be able to do that. How I'm going to get that information? And that's when I realized that I always thought that I was very creative. But guess what? It wasn't me being creative. It was me channeling information, Melissa.
Okay. All right. That's what I just wanted to.
Yes, trust. And the other thing is that I don't listen, I don't see, sometimes I feel, but when I get that information, they come as ideas. Oh, maybe she was a nun. And yeah, she was raped and she was so sad in that life. And when I talked to the person, I had clients crying, saying, yes, that is exactly how I feel. So ask for signs of affirmations, like ask for universe, show me that this, what I'm doing, it's right and it's correct, but trust. Because sometimes the stories are cuckoo, like, what, am I creating this?
That's
No.
kind of what I was like worried about.
No, trust me, Lisa. Trust. This is awesome. And whenever you feel like you want to feedback or talk about something, contact me. Jennifer has all my information.
Okay.
And all of you, just anytime contact me. I want to offer you, if you want to join my group, is Change Energy, Change Action, Shift Energy. I'm doing now a 21-day challenge about how to shift your energy about money. You're more than welcome. I'm going to download all the videos in my YouTube channel. So if you are not on time, you guys are gonna be late, don't worry, they're gonna be there. And also, if any of you are interested in having a conversation with me, one session, we can just check your energy. If you have questions about my own work, how I work with people, it's for free. It's just my way to say thank you for your time. Thanks, Jennifer, for trusting me on me and just letting me do this. So feel free to contact me. Who has another question, Jennifer? I can see the chat, or I do, but it's weird.
Yeah, it I don't know what happened to it. It got kind of, it's in a different space now than normal. But I think if nobody else has any more questions, we're over time. So we'll go ahead and get ready to wrap it up.
There is a question from Louise.
Oh, that was for me. She's going to be, she is the first one to know about that I'm going to start opening up my group again. And so I'm going to be doing my group mastermind instead of just a one-on-one. So she actually has reserved the first spot for that. I haven't even announced it yet. So she's asking if that's what we're going to be doing. But yes, I'm going to be doing my life coaching program. It's a 6-month program. And she's got the first spot reserved. She was the first one to find out about it. So what? I will let you know. I haven't really announced it yet. So I will get that announcement out. It's a much reduced price from working with me one-on-one. And I open it up to a limited amount of people, but I will be getting that out. Again, it's my 6 months coaching program. So that was a specific question, but we will be clearing that as we go. So yeah, I will get that information out. Don't worry, Cindy. Okay, guys, I will wrap this up. I will be sending the recording along with all of Angela's information and a link to her Facebook group and all of those wonderful things. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you guys all soon. And if you have questions, you'll have all of our information, so you can get that in the email.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks everybody.